Hello, everyone. This video is going to go over the difference between active and passive voice. Active voice is very important for media writing because we really want a lot of action and direct writing style within our media writing. And so by studying active and passive voice, you'll be able to really master one of the key skills of media writing. Now, active voice and passive voice can be confusing, but I think once you get the key concept of subject, action, object, you'll be good to go. So active voice involves that simple sentence structure that we've talked about. The sentence has a subject that acts upon its verb. That action in the sentence is being done by the subject of the sentence. This makes active voice strong, direct, and very clear. It's why we use it for journalism as well as other types of media writing because it provides a very simple and easy to understand way of speaking. Passive voice, on the other hand, is where the subject is acted upon by the verb. It usually involves using a conjugation of the form to be, such as is, was, and were, plus a verb past participle. So in the example of it is being loved by me, the making McDonald's famous slogan, passive voice, you can see that we have to be as is, and the past participle is being loved. And so who is the one that is loving? It is me, which right now is being used within a preposition, and the subject is really the object. So instead of I'm loving it, where I am the subject, am loving is the verb, and it being the object of my love, we have flipped it to where we are now using passive voice. And of course, this sounds silly for media writing, but this is exactly how most people write when they're writing in passive voice. Let's get a few more examples. The dog chased the squirrel. This is active voice because the dog is the one doing the chasing. The squirrel is the one that is being chased. So here we have subject, dog, verb, chased, and object, squirrel. So we have that simple sentence structure that we really strive for in media writing using active voice. The passive voice version of this is the squirrel was chased by the dog. Instead of having the subject being the one doing the chasing, now we have the object of the chasing as the subject of the sentence. That makes it passive, and it's kind of hard to understand who was chasing whom in this case. The dog was surprised by the photographer. Who was the one who surprised? It was really the photographer, wasn't it? The photographer surprised the dog, because the photographer is the one that does the surprising, and the one that is surprised, the object of being surprised, is the dog. So the bottom sentence here is active voice, while the top sentence is passive voice. The bottom sentence exemplifies subject, verb, object. So how do we change passive voice to active voice? The first step is identifying the subject. Let's look at the sentences below. Look at the passive voice sentence. The car was driven off the road by Sally. Who is the subject? Who is the one that was driving? Is it the car? No, it was Sally. So Sally is the subject of the sentence. So that needs to go first. So now if you look over to the active voice example of that sentence, you see Sally is the subject. What did she do? She drove. What did she drive? Her car, the object. And then we add any other additional information that's necessary. Sally drove her car off of the road. Perfect. That's a great active voice sentence. Now let's do the same for the second sentence in the passive voice column. Timmy was bitten on the arm by the dog. Now, who was the one that bit? The dog was the one that bit. hopefully Timmy didn't bite the dog. That would not be good. The dog is the one that bit Timmy. So the dog becomes the subject of the sentence. The action the dog did was bit. Timmy is the object of biting. He's the one that was bitten. And then we add the additional information that's necessary on the arm. The dog bit Timmy on the arm is the correct active voice version of that sentence. Let's do another one. An error has occurred with your bank account, but every attempt was made to remedy it. Who's the subject of this sentence? It's actually not listed here, is it? It's really vague and it's somewhat hard to understand. There's no person or entity that is really taking responsibility for the action of the error, right? And so the first thing we need to do is create a subject that is the cause, the one that has completed the error. We, or the bank, made a banking error involving your account. So now who's the one that made the error? It's the bank, or we, if we are involved in this organization. We made a banking error involving your account, and our associates fixed it. So who fixed it? Our employees did. What did they fix? They fixed your account. They fixed it. So that is another example of changing passive voice to active voice. Whenever possible with media writing, we want to use active voice. Unless you can find absolutely no way to avoid passive voice in a sentence, always try to use active voice because it is the preferred means of writing. So now that you have a little better grasp on active and passive voice, I want you to complete your AP style homework. Will be due Tuesday by midnight. So complete the worksheet and then upload it back into Canvas. I hope you guys have a great weekend and I will see you here for week 3.